I'm Sunette from sunetsfitness.com, still talking about strong people stay young. Now, when it comes to independence, that's something that's extremely important for all of us. We want to maintain that in a very safe way. Remember, I'm there all the time doing all those exercises with you, step by step by step. And you might say, yeah, but you're not there. I follow you on my television or on my phone or on my tablet. How do you know? I am a myotherapist, so I know what you can and can't do and what is safe to do and not to do. So I know what I'm going to be showing you next. And I will say, if you've got a shoulder injury, I don't want you to go higher than that. In case of working with a ball, because we work with balls as well, I'll say any shoulder injury or any limitation on your shoulders, take your ball and put it on your chest and we're going to do whatever we're going to do. If there's no limitations and your shoulders are good, I'm going to get you into a position where you have it behind you. Same with your knees, same with your hips, everything. So I'm very specific. When we do a lunge, for instance, I'll say, guys, for those of you that really worried about your knees, lunge small. See how you go, use it as a gauge. Okay, if you can, now we're going to go further. If you're not comfortable with that, you stay where you are. So I'm always talking to you. It doesn't matter whether I'm not there in person. Okay, I hope I answered that question. Now, today I want to also talk to you about objections. Why is exercise important to me, and why has it been important to me for so long? I know what I can and can't do because of exercise. Age is just a number. I get it. I'm 60. I can jump around with 16-year-olds if I have to. I'm not being braggadocious. Not at all. It's just because I've been doing it. And that is what I want to help people with. To be able to do everyday tasks with ease. Now, strong people stay young, the class type that I'm talking about, the category I'm talking about, the exercise class I'm talking about, is aimed at older adults. I do have younger people doing it as well, and that's fine, it's great, but it's aimed at the older adult. Why? A lot of older adults don't want to up and down from the floor to a standing position and back on the floor, doing work on the floor, hip replacements, knee replacement, the shoulder that's not 100%, and the list goes on. But they want to exercise. So that's why I started Strong People Stay Young. Because we do core work, because core work normally you do on the floor, most of the time. And I've decided, well, how are we going to do core work in a Strong People Stay Young class, or in a Strong People Stay Young setting? In the chair. And there's specific ways you do it in the chair, and you get a brilliant workout because of it. So there's no issues there. But that is why I started Strong People Stay Young. So older people with limitations can also do it. But there's always objections. As I've said before, I love it because I know it works. I've been doing it for all my life. If I don't do exercise for a week, I know all about it. I feel it. I start aching. Let's stop there. A lot of people say to me, yeah, but I'm full of arthritis. How's exercise going to work for me? Great. That's exactly what you should be doing, because you get blood flow to the area, to your whole body. It warms up, blood goes everywhere, and all of a sudden you free up. You can actually move. So that's what that's about. And that's, if you had to say to me, I'm full of arthritis, how am I going to move? I hope I've just answered your question. Short and sweet. You need to move, because that way you're going to get your range of motion back, because your body is used to moving. Think about it. If you've been sitting for quite a while and you get up, it's as if you stiff and sore and you need a couple of steps to get going, isn't it? And that's basically what it is. So if you do your hours exercise and you get every single muscle and bone to work in that session, it's going to just be absolutely good for you in every single area of your life. If you're a grandparent, isn't it wonderful that you could maybe run around with your grandkids and do stuff with them if you're fit and able-bodied? And that's what that's about as well. You know, if you stay strong and fit, you can enjoy your grandkids. Okay, so still talking about objections, some people will say to me, but where do I start? Well, at a beginner's level, obviously always, but in the Strong People Stay Young class, you can have any level of fitness. If you walk into the doors today or online starting today, it doesn't matter. The way I teach, and you wouldn't understand this until you do one, it will make more sense, but anybody can be in a Strong People Stay Young class, doesn't matter of their level of fitness. I teach for everybody. If I make my steps big and you can't, you just make yours small. I give you the steps, I give you the movements. It's about how far you're going to reach or how high up you're going to go, how low you're going to reach, how much you're going to open up your chest. So how much are you going to step forward, small steps or large steps? It's absolutely, you change your class to fit your fitness level. And of course, every time you come to class or do your classes online, it's going to get easier. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. How would I know how to follow? Hello, I'm a very good cuer. So I cue you all the time. You're going to know what's going to be coming up before you even do it. You're still busy with the previous punch, and while you're punching, I'll say to you, by the way, guys, we're going to lunge to the right. Okay, right leg out. And if I want you to do a bit of coordination with that, I'll say, okay, now it's time to get that left arm in there. So you'll always know what's going to come next. So don't ever worry about that. Let's talk about someone who says, I can't stick to a program. The first step is always the hardest. Doesn't matter what you do, whether it's exercise, whether it's starting a new job, doesn't matter what it is. The first step of anything is always the hardest. But once you do that first class, and just remember for the record, I do the classes with you all the time. I don't even say, okay, now you're going to bring your knee up and now you're going to punch here and do that bicep curl, try whatever. I do the class with you all the time. We work to very nice music, by the way. Sometimes to the point of where you're going to feel, oh, I can sing along to this one. So please don't worry about that. I do the class with you step by step. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. Hopefully, it gets to a stage where you think, you know what, I feel so good after my class, I never want to miss it again. And I sincerely hope that is the case. Another objection I get quite often is, I'll never be as fit as I used to be. Well, no. If you were fit 20 years ago, that was 20 years ago. So you were 20 years younger. No, you're probably not going to be as fit as that. But you know, I almost want to argue about it, because if you do your exercise regularly, what is regularly? It's different for all of us. I do exercise every day. That to me, it's just part of my life, because I know what it means to me and how I feel. But we're not all the same. So 3 to 4 times a week, I always think is a good amount. It's sustainable, it's doable, because you also don't want to say, gosh, I've got to do this every day, and life gets in the way. And you think, oh gosh, now I didn't, you feel bad. Now I didn't do my exercise today. If you can sort of put time aside 3 or 4 times a week, I think you're doing very good, pretty okay. And in these classes also, if you say to me, look, I'll never be as fit as I used to be, no, but you can certainly work towards it. And every little incremental step towards being stronger and better is going to be better. Little bit makes lots. You're going to eventually maybe get to a stage where you couldn't, let's say, do a bicep curl with a 3 kilogram weight. You had to start, I'm just giving you an example. You start with a 1 kilo. Eventually you're going to get to a stage, gosh, no, actually I can go to 2 now. Or now I can go to 3. Whatever the case might be. There's so many different ways of growth in a Strong People Stay Young class. And my steps were small, now they're big. I couldn't pick my knee up properly. Gosh, now it's really up. I can almost get my knee and my elbow together. I couldn't get my arms could only go to there because I was limited in my shoulder movements. My range of motion was really stuck. Now I can get that little bit further. there's so many, I can keep talking about, don't let me talk about this all the time because I'll never stop. Because I know, I see it all the time. When people start with me, whether it's online or face-to-face, this is more online we're talking about now, but doesn't matter. They start the class and they could barely move. And a month, 2 months down the road, I just shake my head because I think, yeah, it's amazing what the body is really built for, to move, and how much you can do if you really, really want to. Okay, I want to touch on bone density. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm Sinette from Sinette'sFitness.com. All exercise, strong people stay young, lots of different categories, but I want to talk about strong people stay young specifically for the older adult. Let's go to bone density. Bone density is so important as we get older because we lose it if we don't use it. We've heard that saying many times, and it's so true. Now, for bone density, anything resistance is really great because that's going to keep your bones nice and strong. Now, I can go into explaining exactly how the muscle pulls on the bone and it keeps the bone strong, but I'm not going to go into that kind of detail. What I really just want to say is, by doing Strong People Stay Young using different pieces of equipment, we use the bands, a resistance band, which they use in rehabilitation. Very safe to use. You're only going to pull it to where you can. So you work with your capabilities. I'll never expect you to do any more than that because we don't want to hurt ourselves either. Then we're going to go backwards. We want to go forward, not backwards. So you're only going to do what you can. Little bit, little bit, little bit. So we work with resistance bands. Either in the feet, around, on the feet, in our hands, many different ways. We do hand weights. Sometimes we work with one at a time, transferring to the other. Small motor skills, eye-hand skills, coordination, right-left brain, all that kind of thing. So there's so many things we work in that one class. Total escapism, because you have to focus, of course. You can't think about, what am I cooking tonight? That is your class, your 50 minutes online, hour face-to-face. Let's talk online, 50 minutes. Total escapism, where you just do your training. I've spoken about hand weights. We also use ankle weights in a seated and a standing position. A lot of people with back and hip issues, I'd sometimes say use it when you're sitting, but not when you're standing, or whatever the case might be. So all those little pieces of equipment, not only making your exercises more interesting and non-boring, it's also working your bone density, which is extremely, extremely important as we all get older.